Good afternoon, hello, welcome to This Day in History, aka TDH. I'm Alexander, UVRU. We will be joined by the Golden Loon here shortly. Anyway, today is, of course, Wednesday, I think, correct? Yes, Wednesday, Wednesday. June 24th, 2026. This show is about interesting and important events that happened today throughout the annals of recorded history. We have a 43-page document today, so a little bit more than yesterday, so let's start rattling these off. Starting in the year 1312 BC, Mursili II launched a campaign against the kingdom of Azi-Hayasa. Moving on to 109, Roman Emperor Trajan inaugurated the Aqua Traiana, an aqueduct that channeled water from Lake Bracciano 40 kilometers, or 25 miles, northwest of Rome. It's telling me images this. I already have a picture here, as you probably saw this in the thumbnail. But we'll get to that later on. But I just want to show the map of this aqueduct. It went all the way from up here and then down into Rome there. Thank you very much. The loon is currently in the process of joining us. I'm just showing other images of this aqueduct here.
The Roman aqueducts?
Yeah. Like you can't see it well, but right there in the thumbnail. Here's a thumbnail for you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And the title today is St. John's Dance, Resurrection City, Jakarta Incident, and more. So what do we have in store today? You already missed 1312 BC.
Ooh.
So, and this was Emperor Trajan with the aqueduct and everything. Yeah. Anyway, 451, 10th recorded perihelion passage of Halley's Comet. We've been tracking that throughout time. 474, Magister Militium of Dalmatia, Julius Nepos, proclaimed emperor in Rome, rules only until 475 the next year, as the last Western Roman emperor. Now, Julius Nepos forced Roman usurper Glacius to abdicate the throne and proclaimed himself emperor of the Western Roman Empire. So there's apparently a usurper, and then this guy usurped a usurper, and then the next year, everything went to shit. Yikes. 637, the Battle of Moira was fought between the High King of Ireland and the kings of Ulster and Dalriada. It was claimed to be the largest battle in the history of Ireland.
Oh.
Now this one's wild. 1 millennia and 3 centuries ago. 13 centuries. 1,300 years ago on this date.
Wow.
The 726 Maya official Ajbak Lal paid an important diplomatic visit to Waxac Lajun Ub Kawail. 18 rabbits. You know, right here,
Wow.
13th king of Copan in modern Honduras. All right. 843, Vikings sailed up the Loire with 67 ships and destroyed Frankish-held city of Nantes. Yikes, that's a lot of ships.
Yeah.
972, Battle of Sedina, the first documented victory of Polish forces, took place. Mieszko I of Poland decisively defeated Odo I of Lusatia. 1128, Alfonso I of Portugal defeated an army of his mother, Theresa. So we have the Battle of São Mamede near Guimarães. Forces led by Alfonso I defeated forces led by his mother, Teresa of Leon, and her lover, Fernando Perez de Traba. Man, talk about having a dad issue, a mom issue, a parental issue.
Yeah.
1298, Rheinfleisch persecutions. Jews of Iflhauben, Austria, were massacred. Why? Though, we're only told things, to paint somebody in a image of what's the word, victimhood, but we never figure out why. 1314, the Battle of Bannockburn, Scotland regained independence from England. So the first war of Scottish independence, the Battle of Bannockburn, concluded with a decisive victory by Scottish forces led by Robert the Bruce. Here we go again, 1322, Jews are expelled from France for the 3rd time.
Jeez.
Why? We're never told.
Yeah, I know.
And every time every time anybody ever asks this question in public, oh, shut up, don't be anti-Semitic, If you ever want to know who rules over you, look no further than those you're not allowed by law and by social status to mock, to question, to ridicule. I'm starting to see a pattern here. 1340, English fleet destroyed the French at the Battle of Sluis, the 100 Years' War. So during the 100 Years' War, the Battle of Sluis,
Yeah.
the French fleet was almost completely destroyed by the English fleet, commanded personally by King Edward III. So there's a difference.
It's unbelievable. What's that? 2-3 generations for a 100-year war?
Oh yeah, 2, 3, maybe even 4, like depending on how life expectancy.
Yeah,
I mean,
well, it wasn't as long.
let's
then,
say
sure.
40 years. Okay, that's 2, 3 generations. Yeah. So, but this is the importance of multiple sources. Primary source, which says here, it destroys the French fleet. Secondary says almost completely destroyed. That can have a big meaning later on. 3074, a sudden outbreak of St. John's dance caused people in the street of Aachen, Germany, to experience hallucinations and begin to jump and twitch uncontrollably until they collapsed from exhaustion. Yeah, no, this is a serious thing. It's happened. It's happened a couple of times, and there's still no understanding to how it happens. Like, here's an artist rendition. This poor lady is just like, oh, being carried and everything. But people just entire groups, like settlements, towns, like not necessarily cities. I'm not sure what the largest recorded group, but this has been recorded a couple of times throughout history. But large groups of people all of a sudden just start dancing, and there's been multiple accounts of them dancing and unable to stop. They drop, they're exhausted, and in some cases there have been deaths because they just burn themselves out.
Good grief.
It's some neurological thing or something. 1441, Eton College, founded in England by Henry VI. And I wonder if it's still around, although that looks more like
I bet it is.
more fairly recent. But yeah, 1441 until 2026. If it's still around, look at the architecture. They don't make things like that anymore.
No.
It's very weird. With all of our advancements and ease of access to things, how come we build things like crap today? We don't build any of these magnificent wonders. And don't start talking to me about this Obama crap. That's like the library.
Oh.
We don't build wonders. That's not a wonder. That's an eyesore.
Well, we build efficiency now. We have so many better techniques. We don't need flying buttresses anymore.
Well, yes.
But the aesthetics is beautiful. You gotta give it to them.
Yeah.
We don't do that anymore.
1497, Cornish traders Michael Angolf and Thomas Flamank were executed at Tyburn in London. Well, they were traders apparently. 1497 as well, John Cabot claimed parts of North America, what is now Eastern Canada, for England, believing he has found Asia and Newfoundland. Huh. So they're
wrong.
So they're claiming Asia.
Yeah.
Whoopsie. And this was also leading to the first European exploration of the region since the Vikings, Leif Erikson and all that stuff.
Yeah.
1505, the Seventh Spanish Armada plundered the trading island of Kilwa on the Swahili coast of Africa, erecting a fort and establishing a garrison. So they're there to stay. 1522, Portuguese began construction of Fort Castilla on the island of Ternate in the Maluku Islands after being encouraged to do so by Sultan Bayanov of Turente. Okay, and let's just do an image search to see what this fortress looks like. So, yes, a fortress with fortress-like qualities and characteristics and everything. What else we got here? 1527. Gustav I began Reformation in Sweden, taking Catholic possessions. People don't really, talk about this. This isn't public knowledge that much. Catholics under duress and everything. Not talked about as much as some other things. 1527 as well. Paracelsus publicly burned standard medical textbooks at the University of Basel as a protest against the current teaching and practice of medicine. That's terrible. I hope they burned this fucker at the stake. How stupid.
Unless he's proven them wrong or something, what they're teaching. I don't know. It could go either way. Maybe he's a hero.
Well, no, you don't burn books. Because, see, if it's wrong, then you're destroying all the evidence that you can use to prove that it's wrong. I mean, that's stupid. 1535, Anabaptist commune of Munster captured and its leaders were tortured and killed. Yikes. 1540, English King Henry VIII commanded his fourth wife, Anne of Cleves, to leave the court. Anne of Cleves, was she ample? 1571, Miguel Lopez, I'm a guy, I can't help myself, Miguel Lopez de Legazpi conquered Manila for Spain, modern-day capital of the Philippines. 1 year after that, 5 clergymen of Dutch city Enkhuizen were hanged during the Dutch rebellion against Philip II of Spain. Serious stuff there. 1604, Samuel de Champlain encountered the mouth of the St. John River, site of Reversing Falls, and the present-day city of St. John in New Brunswick, Canada. That's pretty cool. Let's see if there's any cool... Okay, there it is. There's a falls.
Yeah.
That's a nice artist rendition. There's a map of the area, generally, whatever he was doing. We're not there yet. 1610, Micmac chief Mambouratu and 20 of his family were the first people of the First Nations to be baptized by Christian missionaries in Port Royal, New France. 1632 as well, Mughal army began a siege of the Portuguese trading port of Hooghly, ordered by Shah Jahan to check piracy in the slave trade, captured 3 months later. So I guess they were doing things that they weren't supposed to. Moving on up to 1648, Cossacks slaughtered 2,000 Jews and 600 Polish Catholics in Ukraine.
Wow.
I wonder why. Like, 1662, Dutch invasion of Macau repulsed. Macau Day. All right, happy Macau Day, Macau. 1664, colony of New Jersey, founded when Duke of York granted Lord Berkeley and Sir George Carteret ownership of land between the Hudson and Delaware rivers. In 1692, Kingston, Jamaica, was founded after Port Royal at mouth of harbor was destroyed by an earthquake. I think they later did rebuild Port Royal because I think that was used as a major hub of pirates. I know that there was a major hub of pirates that got destroyed in an earthquake, and then they later rebuilt it. But there's still the old Port Royal ruins where you can walk the very same streets. You know, it's just the foundations and, you know, ruins and stuff. But walk the same streets that the pirates did a couple hundred years ago. That'd be cool. 1713, Treaty of... Actually, no, 1692. We got that one. 1713, the Treaty of Adrianople ended the Russo-Turkish War of 1710-1713, which restored territory to the Ottomans while allowing the Russians to focus on their war against the Swedes. Freaking Russia's always at war with people. 1717, first Freemasons Grand Lodge founded in London. The premier Grand Lodge of England was founded in London, the first Masonic Grand Lodge in the world, not the United Lodge of England. So that's a different lodge. Or now the United... Now, I guess. Now or not. Now the United Grand Lodge of England. One of those. It is or it isn't. I keep forgetting. So, but... Anyway, that's this is the interior of it right here.
Yeah, that's gorgeous.
And like I chose this picture because it shows the checkerboard flooring and everything. There's a lot of subliminal messaging and such in media and whatnot these days, showing various like Masonic images and everything, tying things to Epstein, you know, tying things to the Clintons, the Trumps, the Bushes, you know, like everything's connected, as everybody's starting to know. But yeah, here's a picture of the lodge on the outside. Like, as you can see with the car, it's rather big, but it looks like most any other lodge, you know, like it's on the corner, it has this architecture and everything. Like, you know, there's a lodge down in the Orange Circle, actually, and to my awareness, lodges didn't go to settlements, you know, as the United States was progressing. Settlements emerged around lodges. So like they found places, you know, like to make lodges, and then things grew up around there. Like, you know, Freemasonry, as you know, is very intertwined in this country, but very under the radar. I mean, our capital is designed with Masonic imagery in it.
Very much so, yeah.
1724, on the feast of St. John the Baptist, Bach led the first performance of his Christ unser Herr zum Jordan Kam BWV 7, the first cantata of his choral cantata cycle. No idea what that is, but that sounds interesting.
Great.
Yeah. 1731, Freemason and Mayor of Philadelphia. Here we go, as I said. William Allen was appointed Provisional Grand Master of Pennsylvania, the first and youngest Grand Master of the Grand Lodge of Pennsylvania. Yeah. 1748, the Kingswood School was opened by John Wesley and his brother Charles Wesley in Bristol, England. The school later moved to Bath. Cool. 1750, Jesuit priest held first mass in the little chapel in Tadoussac, New France, built in 1747, and is now the oldest surviving church in North America. And I do have an image of it right here. There's only 2 images, really, and they both, unfortunately, feature the graveyard. So this one just looks a little bit better rather than this one with the parking lot.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So, and there's nothing else I could really find. So. That's the oldest church in North America. That's awesome. 1778, David Rittenhouse observed a total solar eclipse in Philadelphia. 1 year after that, during the American Revolutionary War, the Great Siege of Gibraltar occurred. We spoke about them getting into position for all that stuff, getting that going a couple weeks ago or so. 1793, first Republican Constitution in France was adopted.
Oh, good.
1 more year later, Bowdoin College was founded in Maine, USA, on the state in 1794. Then 1795, U.S. and Great Britain signed the Jay Treaty, the first U.S. extradition treaty. I'm going to look that up here really quick just to see if I can find it. So, Jay Treaty. There it is. Okay. So, let's see here. I'm going to start treaty. I'm going to start my underbar, my description section here. The Treaty of Amity. Actually, no. Right, this one. Here we go. The Treaty of Amity, Commerce, and Navigation between His Britannic Majesty and the United States of America, commonly known as the Jay Treaty, and also known as Jay's Treaty, was a 1794 treaty between the United States and Great Britain that averted war, resolved issues remaining since the 1783 Treaty of Paris, which ended the Revolution, and facilitated 10 years of peaceful trade between the Americas and the British in the midst of the French Revolutionary Wars, which had begun in 1792. For the Stadians, the treaty's policy was designed by Treasury Secretary Alexander Hamilton, supported by President George Washington, and angered France and bitterly divided U.S. public opinion, encouraging the growth of two opposing U.S. political parties, the pro-treaty Federalists and the anti-treaty Democratic Republicans. Pretty interesting to see the very beginning of things, So, but if anybody wants to read more about this, which I don't blame you, this link, and all the links that we collect throughout the show will be in the underbar of the description, 10 some odd minutes, after the live stream. We already do have a lot of cool things down there, though, if you want to give that a look. Moving on up to 1812, Napoleon Bonaparte's Grand Armée, numbering 500,000, that's 500,000, people, began their invasion of Russia by crossing the Niemen River. 1813, that's really interesting. When you think, because yesterday was Barbarossa.
Yeah.
And I know that, Hitler took a lot of plays out of Napoleon. I mean, who doesn't? Napoleon was a grand master in warfare and everything. So, but he did a day before, as far as calendar time, than Napoleon did. And Napoleon has come the closest that anyone has to taking Russia down.
Oh.
So, 1813, Battle of Beaver Dams. British and native forces defeated the U.S. forces during the War of 1812. 1821, Battle of Carabobo. Bolivar defeated Royalists outside Caracas. There's a decisive battle at the War of Independence of Venezuela from Spain. Okay. 1829, former slave Mary Prince was the first woman to partition the UK Parliament to return to the West Indies as a free person. That's cool. Moving on up to 1841, Fordham University, which was then St. John's College, opened in the Bronx. 2 years later, Vincenzo Soliva decreed no Jew can live outside a ghetto in Italy. Now here, why are they boxing the Jews in? Why are they constantly kicking them out? Why are they constantly killing them? Why are they keeping them in, almost as if an unruly pet, keeping them contained? Why does this keep happening? We if any other people does things like this, we know everything, but it's only with these one people. We just never know what they do. 1846, residency tax on Jews of Hungary abolished. Oh, so now they're getting preferential treatment, unless nobody else pays residency tax, which I can't imagine why. So all of a sudden now they don't have to pay taxes? That sounds like bullshit. 1853, U.S. President Franklin Pierce signed the Gadsden Purchase, buying 29,670 square miles, or 76,800 square kilometers, from Mexico for $10 million, which is now southern Arizona and New Mexico. Yeah. 1861, Tennessee became the 11th and last state to secede from the Union. Oh, my home state, Tennessee. Why do they have to make a mistake there? 2 years later, 1863, planning an invasion of Pennsylvania, Lee's army crossed the Potomac. Robert E. Lee, of course, during the U.S. Civil War. 1880, first performance of "Oh, Canada." The song that would become the national anthem of Canada at the Congress National des Canadiens Francois. And here it is right there. Good old Canada.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Then 1881, 200 people drowned as a train ran off a bridge near Cuautla, Mexico. Yikes. Ooh. 1 year after that, National League expelled umpire Richard Higham from baseball for dishonesty after his links with gambling on games are confirmed. Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow.
He needs to be out of there.
They should have dragged him through the street. In 1884, East Cleveland Street Railway Company began the first U.S. commercial electric streetcar line in Cleveland, Ohio, on the Bentley Light system. Cool. We also have John Lynch was the first black person elected chairman of the Republican Convention. It's a very terrible name for a black person. Last name that is.
Yeah.
So, 1885, Samuel David Ferguson became the first U.S. black bishop. 1889, Butch Cassidy committed his first bank robbery with Warner and two McCarthy brothers at the San Miguel Valley in Telluride. They stole about $21,000, the equivalent of about $735,000 today. Now, I'm wondering if they update this every year, or if this is from whenever last time, because I'm not sure if it would still be that low today. So 1889. It's 21.
I'd still say it's under $1 million for sure.
It's her $21,000 from 1889 to 2025, 2026. Let's see here. Inflation calculator. Here we go. Let's see what this says. 21,000, 1889, 2026. $760,000 or $760,154.35 today. So it's gone up by 25,000 roughly. Yeah. So they need to update their thing there. I closed the wrong tab, unfortunately. Moving on up to 1894, Mary Francois Sadi Carnot was assassinated in Lyon by Italian anarchist Sante Gerardo Caserio during the Ere des Ententes, which had lasted from 1892 till 1894. 1897, hail injured 26 people in Topeka, Kansas. So that's painful there. 1901, the first exhibition by Pablo Picasso at the age of 19 opened in Paris. Wow.
19.
Well, what kind of blew my mind, I always thought Picasso was far later, not later, but far earlier in history.
Yeah, you think that, but he wasn't.
Yeah, well, I remember there's this one scene in the movie Titanic, with Leo DiCaprio and all that stuff, and they're, unpacking in their room or whatever, the rich people.
Yeah.
And then the guy was looking through a couple paintings, and he's like, I don't know what you see, I don't see what you see in these, or blah, blah, blah. Picasso, he's going to be nothing special. And I'm just like, wow. 1902, Target Corporation was founded by U.S. businessman George Dayton as Goodfellow Dry Goods in Minneapolis. Target. Yeah. Which now targets children. So, 1903, Russia prohibits meetings dealing with Zionism, and I agree with him on that. Zionism needs to go. 1911, French courtier Paul Poiret held his infamous The 1002nd Night costume ball to launch his Parfums de Rosine, first signature scent linked to a design house. We're talking about scents now. I have a meme for this. Hold on a second. Sausage. Hold on a second. I put in 2 A's there. Hold on. There, check it out. Sausage, the new fragrance, Dior. Random ass memes that I have, What else do we got here? 1913, Greece and Serbia annulled their alliance with Bulgaria. Wonder why? That's a weird way to say it, annulled.
Yeah.
1916, Mary Pickford became the first female film star to get $1 million contract signing it. That's pretty cool. 1917, Russian Black Sea Fleet mutinied at Sebastopol. The entire fleet? That's not good. I wonder how many people. How long did it last? Why were they mutinying? 1918, the first airmail service in Canada from Montreal to Toronto. Awesome. 1922, funny mustache man from Austria, Adolf Hitler, began a month-long prison sentence for paramilitary operations. He railed against the Jewish sellout of Germany to the Bolsheviks. 22, the U.S. football, or I guess the American Professional Football Association was renamed the National Football League. Now, I want to show, because while looking up stuff for thumbnails and everything, I want to show this to you. You and I, we both love how things go throughout this time. So 1920 to 29, the NFL. And then that. 30 to 39, 40 to 53.
That says 20 to 29, but this didn't happen until 22.
You are correct.
Hmm.
So, I don't know if that was an oversight or if they're just putting things, by decade. But this is 40 to 53, so that's already after a decade.
Yeah.
And then 53 to 58, so that's only 5 years. That's half a decade. 59 to 61, that's 2 years.
Well, every time they change the emblem is when they're going to put it up there.
Well, I know.
It's not time.
I know. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on up to 1922, charter NFL club Chicago Staleys was renamed Chicago Bears, the Bears, by team founder, owner, and head coach George Halas. Now, aren't the Bears moving?
They are.
Yeah. Okay. Where are they going again?
I don't remember.
Neither do I. 23, Pope Pius the 11th, 9/11, Pope Pius the 11th spoke against allies occupying Rugerbride, so Germany's industrial heartland. So let me get this straight. The Voice for God is upset that we're occupying land that supposedly belongs to people that are killing a whole bunch of people based off of a genetic thing or whatever, So I don't know why the papacy, the Vatican, the Catholic Church has any say at all in today's world. I mean, they became a sovereign nation through an act of fascism, through Benito Mussolini, the founder, the creator of fascism. And now they're getting mad, fuck them. Pope Pius he wasn't pious at all. He's an evil son of a bitch. You can even tell, look at him. He looks like a friggin' banker. 1928, with declining business, the Great Gorge and International Railway began using one-person crews on trolley operations in Canada. So cutting back. 1930, first detection of an airplane using reflected radio waves, a precursor to radar, by U.S. Naval Research Laboratory engineers in Anacostia, Washington, D.C.
Ah.
Yeah. And before that, have you seen the pictures of the big, giant concrete, concave things that they had to, hear aircraft across the channel?
I haven't. No.
Hold on a second.
Didn't Germany have that or something?
No, England did.
England
World War II here, aircraft structures, England. Let's see if I can find a couple. I'm not gonna look for it, but it's really interesting. I think it was developed near the end of World War I, so that way they can hear. Or maybe in World War II it was developed. I'm not sure, but it was before radar. And with the ability to cross over the channel on one tank of gas.
Radar was brand new at the beginning of World War
II. Yes.
II. They just set it up. They got it from England. They just set it up in Hawaii.
Yeah, I know.
And
yeah.
Okay, I'm just talking to the.
Oh
folks
yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Anyways, so they didn't even know how to read it well.
Yeah, that was a mistake during Pearl Harbor.
Yeah.
1930 as well, ground was broken for construction of Cleveland Stadium, home of the MLB Indians from 1932 to 93, and the NFL Browns from 46 to 95. That's awesome. I'm going to image search this really quick just to see if there's any thing to... There it is. That's a cool picture, if it loads. Oh, it's not going to load. Oh, there we go. That's a cool picture.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there we go. Oh, wow, look at that. That would have been cool, actually, to use. I should have looked it up. So, is this one going to load yet? Nope. Okay. Oh, well. We're not going to see it. 31, USSR and Afghanistan signed a neutrality treaty in 32. Coup ended absolute monarchy in Thailand. A bloodless revolution instigated by the People's Party ended an absolute power in King Prajapanuk in Siam, now Thailand. I'm just going to let that load there. I want to see it. 1936, rookie outfielder Joe DiMaggio tied 3 MLB records in New York's 10-run fifth inning against the White Sox, hitting 2 home runs for 8 total bases. Yankees beat Chicago 18-4.
Ooh.
Wow, this hasn't loaded yet. Really? You're not going to fucking load. You're just... There you go. Okay, and you're going to be small now. Okay, screw that. 1938, 500-ton meteorite landed near Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. From other sources, pieces of a meteorite landed near Chikorda, Pennsylvania. The meteorite was estimated to have weighed 450 metric tons when it hit the Earth's atmosphere and exploded.
Yeah.
See, now...
So, the first one sounds like 450 tons hit.
Well, 500. First off, they're 50 off.
Yeah.
And yeah, as you said, it made it sound like it made landfall.
Yeah.
But no. So once again, the importance of, like not just with doctors, but get 2, 3, 4 different sources for whatever you're doing, because there might be something, not necessarily to because of any prejudice or agenda, just a simple overlook of adding a little bit of information. You want the full story, you got to go get it. 1939, Pan Am's first U.S. to England flight. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
We also have Siam was renamed to Thailand by Plek Phibujkong Songkhiram, the country's third prime minister. So if anybody wants to try to say that word, actually, nope, it's not even on primary source, it's secondary. So here it is right there. You try to pronounce that better than what I did.
No.
1940, France signed an armistice with Italy during World War II. I wonder what that entails. And this is after Italy's failed invasion of southern France, I think. I'm not sure, because we spoke about Italy's starting an invasion a couple days ago into France, but ultimately it would become unsuccessful. Not entirely sure, though. Like 1940 as well, during World War II, Operation Collar, the first British commando raid in occupied France by BO-11 Independent Company. Mom's time. 1941, the entire Jewish male population of Gorzy, Lithuania was exterminated. Yikes. Well, during these times we don't have to ask why. We kind of know what's going on. 41, Germans advance into Russia and take Vilna, Brest, Litvsk, and Kaunas. We also have U.S. Federal Communications Commission, the FCC, granted the first commercial TV licenses to New York City experimental stations, W2XBS as WNBT, NBC, and W2XAB as WCBW, CBS. 42, German Africa Corps invaded invaded Egypt. Europe. Blah. Starts with an E, but something entirely different. Yeah. The German Africa Corps invaded Egypt. 42 as well, U.S. Admiral Ernest King ordered Tulagi, the Solomon Island, reconquered. The U.S. ordering things reconquered. Well, I guess if it was fallen to, Solomon Island, maybe Japan had it at the time, so that would make sense. 42 as well, now this one's wild. I don't even know how to say what I wanted to say, but there's some things that occupiers and certain peoples that do that just are abhorrent. And this one just, blew my mind when I first saw it. Village of Lizike, Czechoslovakia was destroyed by Nazis after Gestapo found a radio transmitter believed to have been involved coordinating the assassination of Reinhard Heydrich. 33 adults were executed by firing squad on site, and children were sent to concentration camp gas chambers. And the entire village was burnt to the ground and plowed over.
Wow.
They erased it from the map.
Wow.
I mean, I can understand military conquering and everything, but this is uncalled for. Absolutely ridiculous. 43, U.S. military police attempted to arrest a black soldier in Bamber Bridge, England, sparking the Battle of Bamber Bridge, mutiny that left 1 dead and 7 wounded. What the hell? Why? What? 45, the Moscow Victory Parade took place. And then we have a picture of it here. The first victory parade took place on Red Square in Moscow, Soviet Union. Bless you. Symbolizing the victory of the Soviet Union over Nazi Germany. We've all seen images of, the freaking, Soviets with their parades and all that stuff. So, yep. Moving on up to 1946, Loons time. 11.72 inches or 29.77 centimeters of rainfall at Mellon, Wisconsin, state 24-hour record. I wonder if it's still the record. 46 as well, Georges Bidalou, elected Premier of France. 47, flying saucers sighted over Mount Rainier by pilot Ken Arnold. So Kenneth Arnold made the first widely reported UFO sighting near Mount Rainier in Washington. And this is somewhere around the same time. I think the whole Roswell thing was 46. And this is, of course, artist renditioning of whatever it is that, no photos, of course. 47, future Baseball Hall of Fame infielder Jackie Robinson stole home for the first of 19 times in his career as the Brooklyn Dodgers defeated Pittsburgh Pirates 4-2. 48, Soviet Union blockaded West Berlin by stopping access by road, rail, and water. During the Cold War, we have start of the Berlin blockade. The Soviet Union made overland travel between West Germany and West Berlin impossible. 49, Hopalong Cassidy became the
Yay.
first network western, NBC. The first television western, Hopalong Cassidy, starring William Boyd, was aired on NBC. That's not it, but I'm going to image search this really quick, so just to show.
Yeah, he was my hero.
Yeah. Hopalong Cassidy star William Boyd mortgaged everything he owned to buy the rights to the Hopalong Cassidy movies and then licensed them to NBC television. They were an instant hit, and Boyd earned millions in merchandising and endorsement deals. In 1950 alone, $70 million of Hopalong Cassidy products were produced. Wow, what a gamble.
Yeah, I was.
Like,
Hopalong
big.
Cassidy was my guy.
Well, I've heard of
I
it
was
too.
little.
Yeah, even I've heard of it.
Oh.
Probably through you, or
Probably.
other media or whatever, but I'm
Yeah.
aware of it. 49, Cargo Airlines were the first licensed by the U.S. Civil Aeronautics Board. Cool. 1950, New York Giants outfielder Wes Westrom hit 3 home runs and a triple in a 12-2 rout of the Cincinnati Reds at the Polo Grounds V. That's 5.
Mm-hmm.
So this is 1950. So, yep. 1950 as well, apartheid in South Africa. The Group Areas Act was passed, formally segregating races. Yikes. In Africa, of all places, man, white people have done, their fair share of horrible stuff, that's for sure. 51, Persian army took over nationalized oil installations. That does not sound good. 1950, actually, I'm going to read this one here. 1954, this is no longer on either source. Musical review, Jean Marais Anderson's Almanac, starring Harry Belafonte, Hermione Gringold, and Orson Bean, closed at Imperial Theater, New York City, after 229 performances and a Tony Award win. 1956, The Steve Allen Show returned to NBC TV. You remember that?
Yeah,
Oh.
of course.
57, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that obscenity is not protected by the First Amendment in Roth versus United States. Yeah. So, but what is obscene? And who can have such authority? Like, all right, I think that question belongs to something else. Like later on, I'm not sure. Obscenity is not protected. Oh yeah, so okay, so yeah, obscenity is not protected by the First Amendment. But who says what's obscene?
Yeah, well, that's the problem.
1960, Patrice Lumumba, as head of the MNC party, formed a government in the Congo and became independent Congo's first prime minister. Excellent. 1961, Iraq demanded dominion over Kuwait. Well, good luck with that, buddy. 1962, outfielder Jack Reed hit his only MLB home run in the 22nd inning as New York Yankees edged Detroit Tigers 9-7 in the slowest extra inning game in league history, 7 hours. Wow. 7 hours for a game.
Yeah.
I mean, you're getting your money's worth, but I have work in the morning,
Yeah.
63, first demonstration of a home video recorder at BBC Studios in London. Just going to do an image search of this. I looked this up earlier. I couldn't find really anything, worth notes. Like, it's just showing us, like, computer equipment and everything, so I guess that's the stuff demonstrating it. 63, Zanzibar was granted internal self-rule, or self-government by Britain, the United Kingdom. 64, FTC ruled health warnings must appear on all cigarette packages. I don't know why I'm having a difficult time reading everything, doing a lot of ums and stuff and everything, so we all know about these warnings.
Yeah.
Warning, sucking on these things that make you cough is unhealthy. Oh, gee whiz willikers, Batman, I would have never guessed.
Well, they started off by putting on cigarette smoking may be hazardous to your health. They really lightened it up.
Ah.
And then, of course, went to must, or does.
And nowadays, you have Karens running up onto your own porch on your own property screaming at you if you have a non-nicotine vape. Essentially like what happened to me when we went to that library. That crazy lady got up all in my face. She's lucky I didn't knock her teeth out. 64, in South Africa, the 90 Days Act commenced, providing for any person to be detained without trial for 90 days. Further, the person could be rearrested under the same law for another 90 days. What kind of bullshit is that? That's like arresting whoever for whatever reason with impunity. That's bullshit. Wow. That obviously is targeting blacks. 64 as well. 66. Period of relative peace following World War II exceeds that of following World War I. That's awesome. That's really cool. We broke the record. And now let's hold it that way. Although looking at the world now, with how Israel is, looking at all their neighbors, hungrily. 67, Pope Paul the Sixth published encyclical Sacerdotes Celebridotes, reaffirming priestly celibacy in the Latin Church. Yeah, they need to be pious and everything. 67, Zaire adopted their constitution. That's awesome. 68, deadline for redeeming silver certificate dollars for silver bullion. For what country though? Like I presume U.S. or maybe U.K. or something. It just says deadline for that, but for who? I'm going to add that to the question. For what country? 1968, Resurrection City in Washington, D.C. was closed permanently. What is that? I've never heard of that. Have you ever heard of Resurrection City?
I have not.
Neither have I. Poor People's Campaign. Huh. No. Okay. Well, this is going to... oh, yeah, the residents of Resurrection City regularly lifted the encampment and headed out to the various government agencies around Washington. Also, it was just basically a giant... like lean-to camp or what, a shanty town or something. So, what was this called? Resurrection City. Yeah. I'm going to add this link here as well. If anybody wants to look into that, let us know. I guess it's just pretty self-evident when you look that up. Like it closes permanently; it's no longer there.
Yeah.
But I wonder if that's because they actually dealt with the homeless problem, or if they just got rid of them. So. I really doubt that they actually did any problem solving, though. 1970, Bobby Mercer tied a record of 4 consecutive home runs. That's impressive. I mean, it's hard enough to get, a hit, to get a home run, but back-to-back? Oh, wow.
Back-to-back.
Yeah. 1970 as well, U.S. Senate voted overwhelmingly to repeal Gulf of Tonkin Resolution. 1972, Wake Island became unincorporated territory of the U.S. in the U.S. Air Force. We also have Yvonne Brathwaite Burke became the first black chair of a Democratic convention. Okay. 1973, the upstairs lounge arson attack took place at a homosexual bar located on the second floor of a 3-story building at 141 Charles Street in the French Quarter of New Orleans, Louisiana, USA. 32 people died as a result of the fire or smoke inhalation. That's terrible. 74, India was dismissed for 42-17 overs in second test defeats to England at Lord's. Lowest total in country's test cricket history. Chris Old, 521. G.F. Arnold, 4 out of 19. Whatever the hell that means. We also have Kansas City pitcher Steve Busby retired. First 9 White Sox to set American League record with 33 consecutive batsmen retired. Royals still lost 3-1 to Chicago. Yeah, that's unfortunate there. Looking around for any comments. 75, Eastern 727 crashed at JFK Airport, New York, killing 133. That's a tragic article right there, but from other source, we have a little bit more meat to this article. Eastern Airlines Flight 66 encountered severe wind shear and crashed on final approach to New York's JFK Airport, killing 113 of the 124 passengers on board, making it the deadliest U.S. plane crash at the time. This accident led to decades of research into downburst and microburst phenomena and their effects on aircraft. Wow. Oh. 75, a moon tremor perceived. It was hit by tar rain meteors. Okay. 76, the 1975 movie, The Rocky Horror Picture Show, released in Germany. 76, a principal's office in Helsinki, Primary Nyanga, outside Cape Town, South Africa, was burnt down. Part of the broader resistance against the oppressive new Bantu education policy on Afrikaans as a teaching medium in their schools. So it sounds like they're trying to whitewash stuff. 77, Crystal Gale released best-selling album We Must Believe in Magic, featuring worldwide hit Don't Make My Brown Eyes Blue, first platinum album by a female country music artist. Well, it almost sounds like they don't want to be a kiss ass or something. Don't Make My Brown Eyes Blue? Oh, I don't know. 1977, IRS reveals U.S. President Jimmy Carter paid no taxes in 76. Well, not surprising. Knowing how to scam the system and everything. You're unusually quiet.
Well, I'm just listening.
Oh, okay. 77 as well. Josiah Mutazvi Esaya Kibira was the first African to be elected president of the Lutheran World Federation, the LWF. 365 days later, 1978, Ahmad al-Ghalashmi, the president of the Yemen Arab Republic, was killed when a bomb exploded in a suitcase carried by a South Yemeni envoy. Yikes.
Not good. 1
year after that, Ricky Henderson made MLB debut with Oakland Yeah, for Oakland A's, and stole his first base. What a great way to make a debut.
Yeah, of course holds the record for stolen bases.
Oh, nice.
At least he did it. I don't know if he still does.
No clue. 15 minutes till the hour. Can I make it? 1980, Affirmed wins $500,000 Hollywood Cup. First horse to win $2 million in total overall, it sounds like.
Yeah.
For your eyes only, the 12th James Bond, starring Roger Moore and first directed by John Glenn, premiered in London in 1981. We also have the Humber Bridge open to traffic. I have an image of that right here.
Oh,
connecting Yorkshire and Lincolnshire, remained the world's longest bridge span for 17 years. Wow, it's a long bridge. It doesn't look like that long from here. And we have Alamy just like, putting the graffiti all over. That's a wonderful photo, but they just have to go and ruin it. But I found a good one anyway. They can't stop me. So, 1982, first spationauts. Now, remember the other day I was saying, we have astronauts and we have cosmonauts.
Yeah.
Has there been anything else? Well, here's our answer. First spationauts. The first French spationaut Jean-Luc Chrétien and two Soviet cosmonauts lifted off aboard Soyuz T-6 from the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan, USSR. So France is piggybacking off of the Soviets, and their astronauts are called spationauts, or something.
Yeah.
Okay. So we both learned something new today.
Yeah.
82, Equal Rights Amendment went down to defeat. The Equal Rights Amendment failed ratification after falling short of approval from the required 38 states, ending a major push to add constitutional protection against sex-based discrimination. And now there's a lot of discrimination against men happening. 82, U.S. Supreme Court ruled president can't be sued for actions in office. I don't know. I don't like that. I don't like being just carte blanche. Because
well, there's something to be said for it because someone doesn't want to be looking over their shoulder while they're trying to run the world, so to speak.
Yeah, but then if they get that kind of carte blanche, that diplomatic immunity, what's stopping them from abusing it? And then now what are you going to do? You can't sue them, and they're going to keep doing it. 82, the Jakarta incident, British Airways Flight 009 flew into a cloud of volcanic ash thrown up by the eruption of Mount Gunung, resulting in the failure of all 4 engines. Don't fly through volcanic plumes. What an idiot.
It's got a lot of grit.
That's really stupid. Why'd they do that? 83, Don Sutton became the 8th pitcher to strike out 3,000 batters. I wonder who the first one was.
Yeah, he was a Dodger pitcher.
Yep. 84, Joe Morgan set career home run mark for second baseman with 265. Nice. 86, Guy Hunt elected first Republican governor of Alabama in 112 years. Yeah, people don't realize, all the horrible Confederate stuff, all the slavery, all the racism, everything in the South and all that stuff. Well, that's under the laws of the Democrats, not the Republicans. Nobody seems to realize that. For whatever reason, they and because the Democrats are good, they are good at this. They're not good. They're good at this manipulation through the media, and in the media they're more liberal and all that stuff. So of course they're gonna use their influence to make people think redneck and these backwoods Confederate flag waving lynching psychopaths are one and the same. No, the lynching psychopaths are Democrats. The rednecks, the conservatives, the Republicans, they're the people the union busters. The term redneck comes from wearing a scarf around your neck, a red scarf, redneck, against the unions. They're for the people. That's where it came from, the term redneck, believe it or not.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So anyway, 1986 in Britain, Foreign Office Minister Linda Chalker met Oliver Tambo, President of the African National Congress, the ANC, to discuss means of ending apartheid without violence. I'm all for that. We also have U.S. Senate approved tax reform, quote unquote. I'd like to look into that, but we're 11 minutes from our hour, so I'm going to try to make us in our hour. Ayo's time! Can I cover my entire life?
No.
In 10 minutes.
No, you can't.
87, CFL's Montreal Alouettes team folds. Alouette, Gentil Alouette. 87 as well, minor league Salt Lake City Trappers began pro baseball record 29 consecutive win streak. That's awesome.
Ooh, yeah.
88, Cleveland pitcher Doug Jones set record of 14 consecutive saves. And I wonder if that's a team record or the whole league. So, 88 as well, Red Sox began American League record 23rd consecutive home win streak. Okay, there we know it's the whole league. Over here, 89, Cardinals Vince Coleman still a record 39th and 40th consecutive basis. Once again, is that a league record or just their own team? 2 out of 3 of these only answered all those questions. 99-1, NHL adopted instant replay in 10th of second clock and final minute. Yeah, it really gets down to that point. Billy Joel in 92, at the age of 43, got a diploma from Hicksville in New York High School. 25 years after leaving with a missing English credits, he submitted samples of his writing to earn his degree. That's pretty cool there.
Yeah.
So, 92, Eddie Antar, a U.S. CEO of Crazy Eddie's, facing $74 million stock fraud charges, was caught in Israel. Huh. Well, I mean, they're looking for money. They're going to find you, in the center of people who are stereotypically looking for money. I mean, like, what was he doing hiding in there of all places? How stupid. They'll smell him. That was terrible for me to say. 92, Mafia boss John Gotti began life sentence in jail for murder and other crimes. MLB Commissioner Faye Vincent permanently banned pitcher Steve Howe from baseball for repeated substance abuse violations, later overturned on appeal. Now, they got to kick him out. He can't hold himself responsible. He's gone. NBA draft, LSU center Shaquille the Diesel O'Neal, first pick by Orlando Magic, and this is when it started.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. 93, Arab terrorist group planning bombing of Holland and Lincoln tunnels was caught. When I first read this, I'm thinking, it's always these people who do this stuff. I've never heard of a Jew doing this. I've never heard of Christians outside of the Irish, but that's for a whole different reason. Worldwide, it's always the freaking Arabs doing this. And why do we work with them? When are we going to realize that, we just can't get along? I wish we could, but they want us all dead or converted. So it's their problem, not ours. But we got to do something. 93, Yale computer science professor Dr. David Gellerner lost his sight of one eye, the hearing of one ear, and part of his right hand after receiving a mail bomb from the Unabomber. Yikes. So, got him. So, it kind of puts my whole joke, did you hear about the guy who, lost his left arm, left leg? He's all right now. It kind of makes it not a good spot for that joke right now. Why did I bring it up? 94, first French all-news TV, LCI, began broadcasting. That's pretty cool. Glastonbury Festival in Pilton, England, open. Levelers, Elvis Costello and Peter Gabriel headline. Other performers included Spin Doctors, Johnny Cash, Michelle Negacarello, Dwight Yoakam, Lucy Dube, Oasis, and Iris DeMont. And this was removed from primary source at one point. All of the Glastonbury film festivals, or festivals in Pilton and all that stuff, for most part, they seem to be erased from our primary source. I'm not sure if they've been moved or what. So, 94, Boeing B-52 Stratofortress crashed at Fairchild Air Force Base near Spokane, Washington, killing 4. And I only brought that up because I actually know what this aircraft looks like. That thing. That's a huge thing to come down, man.
Yeah.
So, and that's a bomber, so
Yeah.
obviously only a small crew. I don't think it's only 4 people, so it's probably 4 out of 10 or whatever. But still, something this big, coming down, that's not anything to sneeze at. 1995 Stanley Cup Final, Meadowlands Arena, East Rutherford, New Jersey. New Jersey Devils defeated Detroit Red Wings 5-2 for a 4-0 series sweep. Devils' first Stanley Cup Finals appearance. Nice. We also have wrapped Reichstag art installation completed by artists Christo and Jeanine Claude. German Parliament building completely wrapped by polypropylene fabric. So that's not a computer image. They actually wrapped the entire Reichstag. The entire Reichstag. That's crazy. I mean, can you imagine if we did something, if they wrapped Buckingham Palace or, the Houses of Parliament, or if we wrapped up, the Capitol building or something like that? We should. I wonder why they even did this, though. Because this is awesome. And I hope they recycled and donated all that fabric. That's a lot of stuff there. 1997, despite an American League record 19 strikeout performance by Randy Johnson, A's first baseman Mark McGwire hit a massive 538-foot home run in Oakland's 4-1 defeat of the Seattle Mariners. 97 as well, Melissa Drexler, at the age of 18, was charged with killing her baby during her prom. Yikes!
Yo.
I hope she saw the business end of a guillotine. Seriously, she needs to go. You know that. You know what I say, like, because I'm done with prison. You know, when it comes to things like this, exile or execution. Well, in this case, execution. I do not want her procreating because I don't want, if she doesn't kill her next baby, I don't want that baby to kill its baby. You know, like, I don't know. I'm not saying crime is genetic or anything, but something needs to be done with these people. 99, Christie's auction house in New York City conducted a sale of 100 Eric Clapton guitars to benefit Crossroads Center at Antigua, a drug and alcohol residential rehabilitation facility he co-founded in 1997, raising nearly $4.5 million. Brownie, a 1956 Fender Stratocaster used on the original recording of Lila, sold for a then record $450,000 for one guitar. Wow. 2002, home stretch here. The Ngandu train disaster in Tanzania killed 281, the worst train accident in African history. Let's hope they don't break that record. 2004, capital punishment was declared unconstitutional in New York. I don't know about that. We also have Christie's auction house in New York City conducted a sale of 80 of Eric Clapton's and Friends guitars to benefit Crossroads Center at Antigua, a drug and alcohol residential rehabilitation. Hold on a second. So this is a seasonal thing.
It's another one or what?
It's another one, yeah.
Okay, so
hold on a second.
How many guitars does the guy have?
We got 1999. Okay, this one here, 2004.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's not this one guy, although it's got. Oh yeah, here it is. Okay, it's probably this is Eric Clapton.
Yeah.
The first one,
100 Eric Clapton guitars.
This is both Eric Clapton.
Yeah. So
this is 80 more Eric Clapton and Friends guitars to benefit. Now wait a minute. This is. Oh. Huh.
It's another benefit there.
Yeah. How many guitars does he have though? That was. Raising over $5 million, Blackie, a 1956-57 composite Fender Stratocaster used as his primary instrument from the mid-70s until '85, sold for a then record of $959,500. So this is a different event.
Yeah.
How many guitars did he have? 2005, Glastonbury Festival in Pilton, England opened. The White Stripes and Coldplay headline. Other performers included the Kaiser Chiefs, Taj Mahal, Brian Wilson, Van Morrison, Elvis Costello, and Primal Scream. 2007, the Angola fire started near the South Lake Tahoe, California. The Angora fire, not Angola. Destroying over 200 structures in its first 48 hours.
Wow.
I remember all that. Oh.
Yeah.
2009, Michael Bay's film Transformers Revenge of the Fallen was released, grossing over $832 million worldwide. 2009, Glastonbury Festival in Pilton, England opens. Neil Young, Bruce Springsteen, and the E Street Band in Blur headline. Other performers included Fleet Foxes, Tom Jones, Spinal Tap, Lady Gaga, and The Script. 2010, the longest match in tennis history. U.S. John Isner defeated Nicolas Mahut of France at Wimbledon after 11 hours and 5 minutes of play over 3 days.
Jeez.
Wow. We also have Ringo Starr's 11th All-Star Band debuted in concert. Members included Rick Derringer, Eddie Winter, Gary Wright, Richard Page, Wally Palmer, and Greg Bissonette, I guess. We also have Julia Gillard assumed office as the first female Prime Minister of Australia. All right, I wonder if she did a good job. 2012, female athletes will be allowed to compete for Saudi Arabia at the Olympics for the first time. It's pretty cool. 2012, this one's not as cool. We have the death of Lonesome George, the last known individual of Chenolinius nigria abengidoni, a subspecies of the Galapagos tortoise. You remember Lonesome George?
I do not.
Oh,
not as a tortoise.
No, he had this long neck and turtle guy, this tortoise. Like I guess he didn't sire offspring. I'm not sure. I guess I was thinking about a different tortoise. There's several tortoises. Look how big he was though. I mean, that's not a person right next to him, but still, like, it's a real shame. The loss of an entire species, gone.
Yeah.
Forever. What else do we got here? 2013, former Italian Prime Minister Silvio Berlusconi was found guilty of abusing his power and engaging in relations with an underage prostitute, and was sentenced to 7 years in prison. He should be executed if found. If without a shadow of a doubt he was found guilty with doing things with an underage individual, gone forever. 2014, Russian-backed rebels in Ukraine agreed to a ceasefire. 2017, UN states Yemen cholera epidemic reached 200,000 cases with 1,300 deaths. The worst cholera outbreak anywhere in the world. We are now on our hour. We just have just under 10 years left to go. 2017 as well, world record for highest altitude football match ever played at 18,799 feet on Mount Kilimanjaro by women's international team. That's awesome.
Wow, yeah.
Kilimanjaro. Dude.
That's cool.
Dude, look at that. Come on, load. Okay. That's awesome. That's epic. 2018, women drive for the first time in Saudi Arabia after the ban was lifted. Dude, I found it ironic. They allowed women to get their pilot's license and fly aircraft before they allowed them to drive.
Really?
Like, yeah, Saudi Arabia. Like, how ridiculous. And they also gave Sonia or whatever, like that robot. They gave that one robot full citizenship, human equivalent citizenship, voting rights, and everything, and haven't given any to women yet, which is wild.
Well, it's a robot. There's no gender.
Well, I know, but
I see what you're saying.
They hate women so much that they give a machine the right to vote before women.
They don't hate women.
Well, they don't like them. They're not giving them any rights. They're keeping them under the thumb. Am I wrong? Oh.
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
Not from their perspective, you're wrong.
Well, from normal people's perspective, they are. So, 2019, El Salvador immigrant father and his 23-month-old daughter drowned trying to cross the Rio Grande into the U.S. with their photo causing widespread condemnation. Well, dude, what is he doing? That's a bad parent. Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel sorry for the kid, but that's a bad parent. And I don't feel sorry for the situation at all. Don't come here if you're illegal. Fuck off. 2019, Greek Cypriot army officer Nikos Metaxas was given 7 life sentences for the murder of 5 women and 2 children in Nicosia. Okay, well, 1 for each. That makes sense. Although, why not just execute his ass? 2019 as well, mysterious sickness affected 718 children with 152 deaths around Indian city of Muzaffarpur, previously thought to be lychee fruit, but now unknown. I wonder if it was at St. John's disease again. U.S. President Donald Trump imposes sanctions on Iran, targeted at Iran's Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei in response to the shooting down of a U.S. drone. Yeah, we covered that drone shooting yesterday, I think. 2020, New York Governor Andrew Cuomo announced people arriving from 9 states hard hit by the Kung Flu pandemic will have to isolate for 2 weeks. But what are the 9 states?
Good question.
And dude, look at that. Look at that picture. Doesn't he look like the guy out of American Psycho? Like spitting image from.
I don't know. I don't know what that is. I don't know
it's a movie.
I got that, but I don't know the movie.
Like right here.
Oh, yeah.
Sleazy ass New York businessman piece of shit, So, 2020 World Monetary Fund predicted a deeper global recession, or Monetary Fund predicted a deeper global recession with contraction of 4.9%, down from 3%, noting 2/3 of all countries used $11 trillion whatever to support their economies. 1 year later, 2021, residential tower Champlain Tower South collapsed at 1:30 a.m. at Surfside, Miami Beach, with 156 people missing. 98 bodies eventually were recovered. Yikes. We also have second discovery of the remains of 761 people, mainly indigenous children, announced at former Marieville Indian Residential School in Saskatchewan. Yeah, they're killing a lot of native children and everything. Part of the separation. Remember, the Lost Generation or whatever it's called, something like that.
Is our neighbors to the north did this?
Yep. Oh, wow. Canada did horrible things to their natives up there. We did horrible things. Australia did bad things. Britain did. And all 3 of us stem from Britain doing horrible things to everybody, for thousands of years before that. And they're still doing that to Ireland. So, 2022 U.S. Or I guess Estonian Kate Ledecky won the 800 meter gold medal in 8 minutes 8.04 seconds at the World Swimming Championships in Budapest, completing 400, 800, and 1500 meter treble for unprecedented fourth time at a single world. Or single worlds. That's wow. That's a lot of swimming there. U.S. Supreme Court overturned Roe versus Wade, eliminating constitutional right to choose abortion in a 6-3 vote. Other source, in Dobbs versus Jackson Women's Health Organization, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that the U.S. Constitution does not assign the authority to regulate abortions to the federal government, thereby returning such authority to the individual states. This overturned the prior decisions in Roe versus Wade from 1973 and Planned Parenthood versus Casey in 1992. How about just people act like an adult? If you do the mattress mambo and you don't want a child, well, that's tough luck. Don't do the mattress mambo. Hold yourself accountable. Like what are you, just some animal? And you just want to flush something down because you want to continue to be an animal? No, I don't accept that. Unless if you want abortions, beyond being the victim of a struggle, snuggle, or interfamily relations, if you want to just hop from pole to pole and get abortions, then I will call you an animal. I will call you inferior. And if you're fine with that, then I'm fine with you getting abortions. Otherwise, act like an adult. It's not that difficult. 2023 MLB Los Angeles, Mike Trout, Brandon Dury, and Matt Thaiss hit home runs on 3 consecutive pitches in 25-1 win over Rockies at Coors Field in Denver, Colorado. Wow. Opener Tammy Beaumont smashed 208 in the Ashes Test against Australia at Trent Bridge for the highest ever score by an English woman in Test cricket. Australia went on to win by 89 runs.
Wow.
Okay. We also have Wagner Group mercenaries led by Yevgeny rebel against Vladimir Putin's government, marching towards Moscow. Only a last-minute deal by Alexander Lukashenko got them to stand down and move toward Belarus. Yeah, I remember all that. Yeah. It got wired there for a second. I thought they were going to have a coup and try to go after Putin. They should have. 2024, flooding across the U.S.'s Midwest affected 3 million people in Minnesota, Iowa, South Dakota, and Nebraska, including completely cutting off Spencer, Iowa. That's unfortunate. Philadelphia Phillies turned rare 1-3-5 triple play, MLB's first since 1929, during an 8-1 win over the Tigers at Comerica Park in Detroit, Michigan. That's almost a century. Wait, this isn't cricket. Wait. 2 years ago as well, Stanley Cup Final, Amerant Bank Arena, Sunrise, Florida. Florida Panthers won their first title in franchise history, defeating the Edmonton Oilers 2-1 in Game 7. MVP Connor McDavid of the Oilers center. Sudan had the largest number of displaced children in the world after a year of civil war, with nearly 4 million facing acute malnutrition, according to the UN. Yikes. Ooh. We also have WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange reached a deal with the U.S., pleading guilty to criminal charges, but allowed to go free after 5 years in a UK prison. Oh, good. So he's alive. Thank God. We also have 2025. 1 year left here, guys. In a major upset, New York State Assemblyman Zohan Mambandi defeated former Governor of New York Andrew Cuomo and other candidates for the Democratic nomination of mayor, winning 56.4% of votes in the final round in the largest primary in New York City's history. I think they stole it. I don't know. And last but not least, NATO summit took place in The Hague, Netherlands, with all 32 NATO members expected to attend. But did they? Is a question.
That's a good question.
Yeah. And that shall conclude the show. Once again, please check the underbar of the description below for any links that you may find interesting, including but not limited to all things Omni Coalition. A lot of history has and continues to be made on a daily basis, so we can only bring you a portion between two sources. We have gotten through all 43 of these pages in an hour and change here. So, excellent job, everyone. To let us know that you're still watching, what's the code word? Come on.
Lighter.
Lighter, okay. I think we've used lighter before, but we'll use it again, We'll use it in the form of a question. What's the difference between a Zippo and a hippo?
Lighter.
But what's the actual answer?
The Zippo is lighter.
Yeah, it's a little lighter. Oh, yeah.
A little lighter.
Yeah.
Okay.
One's really heavy, the other's a little lighter.
I was there.
Yeah. Anyway, for your dose of past events daily, we stream at 5 p.m. Pacific Time, 6 Mountain, 7 Central, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, respectively. For all of you and all of us, I'm Xander.
Golden Loon.
And UVRU, I'm going to do a quick look for comments. Nothing on YouTube, anything on Rumble. Where is Rumble? There is Rumble. Nope. All right, until you catch us next time, whenever it is, don't forget to look right and left at every intersection. Rate 5 thumbs and subscribe. Toodles!